Nkumba News. This is The Perspective with me, your host, Nashonji Simon Peter. Today I'm privileged to host the President-elect in Nkumba University, Mr. Toka Victor Givens. Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to be hosting you this evening.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to understand, how does it feel to emerge as a victor? 7 candidates tussling it out, and then you've singled out and declared a winner. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels so nice. You know, when you feel you are the people's choice, really it brings on that energy, it brings in that zeal that yes, you can do something better. It's a matter of people entrusting you. When you're entrusted with something, can you bring out what people expected in the trust they have invested in you?
Yes.
So that is what actually brought this out, and it feels so good to be the person entrusted by the students to take us.
So people already know you as Toka Victor Givens.
Yeah.
Help us understand, who is this person? A little bit in details in terms of origin and how you eventually connect to Uganda.
Yeah, thank you so much. Toka Victor Given generally is a South Sudanese, born to a South Sudanese father, but also to a Ugandan mother, and grew up with the mother eventually. So growing up with my mom within Western in Koboko, I managed to interact a lot with the policies and even education-wise in Uganda. So I got to grow up also as a as a refugee. So in one way or the other, 90% of my life has been in Uganda.
Oh.
Yes.
So you were actually a refugee.
Yeah.
Who grew up in Uganda.
Yes, sir.
And then how do you connect with the leadership?
Yeah, connecting with the leadership, I always like to create a positive contribution wherever I live. Wherever I go, I love to create that contribution. That will make people remember that yes, once upon a time, Toka Victor has been there. So growing up in Uganda alone, as a refugee, even outside there, so be asking yourself, what impact are you leaving to Uganda that actually have kept you safe for some time? You left your country and came here to seek for what? For refuge. So what impact can you leave Uganda in terms of even, at least, a way of saying thank you? Can you create that positive contribution? Whether being planting a single tree, within before you leave, it will be something very important. We don't know when our country is going to normalize, and we already have some potential within us that we need to really nurture and bring out clearly. So it's not time for us to sleep. It's not time for us to relax, but it's time for us to use the available platforms that allow us as refugees to access or bring out our potential to be very important. So I have always that in me, and I can't wait for South Sudan to become good, or maybe to normalize before I
transfer this idea. So you eventually joined Nkumba University. Did you start thinking of becoming a guild president instantly, or it took you time?
Actually, I started feeling like I must go through this and want to become a guild president. I always have that passion for leadership. Wherever there's any leadership position, I love to go for it, where I feel I am a qualified person for that. So in this, I am trying to look at how I came and found the start of the university under the leadership of Amagule Sandi. So something somewhere there inspired me. I always like engaging with these people who are in top leadership positions, whether being in an organization or in public life. So reaching here, we had a lot of engagement, communications with Amagule. I would ask him how everything went and how did he make it, because I would also want to aspire one time in this position. So with that, I developed that from my very first semester, that when my time comes, I will have to go to this and aspire for guild presidents in Nkumba University. And I all prepared myself, seeing things around, knowing very well that yes, if I come there, these are things that I'll have to see take place and I'll have to handle.
So you eventually start the idea of becoming the guild president, but again, see who I would actually call the big boys standing up and preparing to also contest.
Yeah.
Did you at what point think, I just have to give up, or there is some fire in you that kept you like motivated?
Actually, my motivation comes from who I am. Yes, I know I have built trust as much as possible from childhood with my peers. So that is already another motivation for me. And then another motivation comes in speaking and trying to influence someone to think in the way I am thinking. That is already something that I feel I can deliver something to this institution. And again, you look at, yes, a community, really identifying yourself with the biggest population mostly of voters around Nkumba University.
Yeah.
If you had that goal from the very first time you dropped this institution, and then just know that you already have a strategy, because anything that will take place, any activity within those kind of associations, you'll be able to tap in and build that relationship among the people. So somewhere, yes, we started the race very slow, but I was so much confident. A lot of people would ask me my confidence, why am I too confident for this race? Yet that's not what they think. But I always tell people that there's a difference between what you know about someone
And what they're doing.
and what they're doing. Yeah.
So you come up with the idea, something that I would think was actually brilliant, the idea of a common man. You portray yourself as this person who has nothing but willing to deliver in terms of leadership.
Yeah.
And somehow people believe you.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this idea, common man?
Being a common man, I always look forward to whatever. I've seen people in positions of leadership, and I've seen how they act. Sometimes I don't like. I'm this kind of person who's analytic. When you're in a bigger position, a higher position, I also look and I test your behavior and your capability.
Yeah.
Some people take this position as a way of showing off for prestige and maybe way of making money. But then when you look at the quality of being entrusted, then when someone entrusts you with the power or money, the person really sees you as the person who can put this in the rightful use. But then at the end, when you divert from the expectation that the people have from you, you must have failed as a leader, because a leader should always be someone who will be there to empower and also to deliver what is expected out of them.
The feather. I see one of your portraits, and people have buses, watches, radios, but you chose a feather. Why did you choose the feather?
The feather, most importantly, brings out our originality as Africans. Yes, we should all as Africans recognize that here in our ancient structures had mostly the feather as a symbol. And the feather mostly symbolizes authority, it symbolizes love, it symbolizes trust, and it symbolizes several other things that you can even go on further, even researching on Google, and you'll find more about it. So the feather isn't there just to show something for formality, no, but then it's just there.
It's not witchcraft.
It represents, yes, it represents certain qualities that are in me. So when you go back to the internet and search for the symbol of a feather, what the feather symbolizes, you actually realize, you get to know those qualities, and those qualities of trust, honesty, and trustworthiness are what in me. That's why I chose the feather to be standing there. I expected through the campaign process for people to ask me this question, but unfortunately I ran this race without anyone asking the question. And after there are allegations of witchcraft coming in, so
so it's not witchcraft.
It's not.
No. I want to come to a scenario where I saw people with motorcades, but you had your team, and they were walking, you were riding a bicycle looking for votes. Was that also a strategy, or indeed the common man was as that common?
Exactly, as simple as that. Trying to show that aspirations are not driven by money, but as long as you have that belief that you are that leader who is passionate and wants in one way or the other, want to enrich lives, want to represent your institution, want to do a lot of things, create that significant contribution, you just have to. This is a communication out to the common people outside there. Some people, a lot of people have rich ideas, but they can't come up with them easily because they feel they don't have enough finance, like mostly applying for a particular political person like this. There's a way we need a mindset change as Africans. We always think politics, applying for politics like this, you need money, you need all that. So in one way or the other, I also knew that even if I don't make it through, this will be a lesson to someone who is down there, a common man, to also come up and represent his potential or her potential. That's what I get.
So what about a scenario where now indeed people injected in money?
Yeah.
You saw during the open campaign, we had the FIFA Maker performing for the NRM guys.
Yeah.
Did it in any way affect your esteem, or you were still focused on that leadership position?
You know, as a leader, you must always be able to have plan B. When plan A fails, you will always be able to focus on plan B. But I had that thing in me that move I have taken in one way or the other will never leave me the same. It will never leave me the same. So whatever people were doing, those ones with the financial ability, they had enough money to inject in these campaigns, whatever they were doing did not affect me in one way or the other. I still believed that I will make it in this race. So whatever they were doing, I know it will bring people together, but then at the end, how do I bring? So my strategy somewhere is, whenever something has taken place, someone has organized something like this, me, I go and organize a simple banner, a flyer, just to be moving online with a message that yes, talk organized. So the message reached several audience, of which some people may not think I am mobilizing other, but I have people who can forward do things into different platforms whenever they find them. So that is how I reached most people, and good enough, the other platforms like the debates and the open air campaigns made most people actually to know more about me. Yes, they got to know how I presented myself, and good enough, I want their trust to know how I brought out my ideology clearly, explaining it to them. So that's why I got this right.
When it comes to debates and discussions involving guild candidates, you seemed too confident compared to the rest. I saw a number of them struggling to explain their agenda, but you were quite reluctant, as if you actually had this under control. I want to understand, did you just at one point think, I'm just destined to win this election?
I had this slogan is that what God has planned will always pass. And we also say leadership comes from God. So being a religious man, I would always pray that God, if you know my intention, my heart, then make me victorious. So under that, I believe it is something God has planned for Nkumba University so long to have Toka Victor given. Yes, and in this government, God knows my intention that I have really come to serve the students of Nkumba University. Genuinely, not only the students, the community around Nkumba University, and even the staff, how we can engage in this. So the confidence I gained from the debates and the other external platforms, like going to the TV and all that, you might be thinking about it in a different way, but for me, I looked at it as facing much bigger audience than the students of Nkumba University. So in one way or the other, I knew that this is one opportunity I may get. The confidence to present myself in a media like this will demarcate me somewhere. You never know. Somewhere someone will pick up and say, when you're watching, this is a very good person and he knows how to present himself and bring some of his ideas. So I was prepared very early. I told you I started this journey from my very first semester in this institution. So I already had preparations from that time of how I want to present myself and what is the ideology that I wanted to build out. Yes.
And so as a news website, Nkumba News, we came up with opinion polls, and these opinion polls put you in the lead. Did you look at the opinion polls with the positivity that this is actually what's going to come, or did you have doubts in the opinion polls?
The opinion polls contribute a lot. They have really contributed towards even my victory, because there are some people started looking for me by their own before even I would reach them in my what.
So it sold you.
It sold me out. So people came and hey, who's this person who won this opinion polls? Out of I think I don't know the number, but the percentage I had it at 3 and the second person had 18.
Yeah.
So you looked at that. That is a very big difference.
Yeah.
And people were now asking themselves, who is this person? Because they are sold out. However, there are a lot of opinion polls that came out somewhere. I also asked myself, where are some of these polls coming from?
Yeah.
Because when you realized NBS even posted an opinion poll that I had 2%. I was the last in that, and the first was the Semango Morris of NU. So the opinion polls in one other contribute a lot.
Yeah, so you want to say you believe that Nkumba News had a fair play of the opinion polls being an internal organ. They knew better compared to other opinion polls.
Yeah, so much I trusted the opinion poll that Nkumba News came up with. Yeah. And that opinion poll, I just believe it was real. Because according to my mobilization, I much knew that I didn't have money. I would not mobilize in a group or whatever. I had only 2 avenues of mobilization. One-on-one and then in classroom. Because I know if I'm going to meet a certain cultural institution or association, they will have to demand for something to subscribe, of which I don't have. So I would only focus on those 2, going to a class and on one-on-one individual. But I preferred individual mobilizations, because there I'll be able to speak to someone more and the person understands me more better. So I was mostly focusing on that, and I had a target of at least every day reaching 10 to 15 people per day, because I knew the process was now long. From 8 it was pushed to 29. Yeah. So I had enough time, so I put that target in place in a day, at least to reach from 10 to 15 people, individuals that I have to meet, like me meeting Nas like this. We discuss and I share out. I market myself to that person. We even get to know more in relation to that. And also in the mobilization processes, I made sure I attached value to the people I'm interacting with, trying to encourage them in one way or the other. So that one brings in that support that I had, and that's why I emerged victorious.
You out of 1,200 students that came out to vote that day, you had a 23% lead. That's 2,289, right? So it means the other almost 70-something% did not support you. It leaves a very big divide. How do you plan to go about this?
Yeah, so much. I've always brought it out, and I know being in a democratic system, you have to always accept that the majority goes with it all. So in one way or the other, I want to encourage the other people who might have not made it. The other 70, I know they are divided and causing a lot of commotions and propaganda down there. But now, I want to ensure them that whatever happens, let's just accept it and start to come together to work as a team. I've always told the other candidates, because I was much investing on one-on-one, like discussions with these candidates, to even get the ideas, to learn more from them, because I want to look at the aspect when I make it there. Let's assume it is me, and then how am I going to work with these people? Which best position can this one have and this one have? So I was looking into that scenario so much, and I always engage them, and I would tell them, yeah, you have very good manifesto, and I believe this manifesto being joined together, all the 7 manifestos being joined together, Nkumba University is going to be a very great institution a year from now. So I look forward into bringing all those ideas together. Sad that the candidate that participated in this, we respected them. I respected them, and I believe in them in one way or the other. We are already leaders. Standing for such an process is not easy. It's not easy. So I've seen these qualities in them. We want to go together, we want to move together. We, as a team, let them just learn to accept that yes, it has happened and the democracy has decided it. So what we do next is look at ways of how we can live out our differences and think about our similarities of working together as human beings and as students.
Right now the incumbent is Lawrence Mushabe, who is an NRM member. I'm looking at a situation where the students are saying these people have not done much. How prepared are you to deliver this particular service and make this analogy of thinking that guild presidency cabinets don't deliver? How do you plan to change that perspective?
I always told the people in the mobilization that the most important thing I can assure them as students is communication. Communication meaning that whenever something is not going right, I have to come and deliver out any information. That will put the whole university right. And whenever I also come to collect the feedback from the students, I'll be able to get some of the challenges that are down there. In case I'm capable of handling them there, I handle. In case I can't handle, I forward to the respective offices. That's the beauty of communication. I believe the preceding government of Musabe, it never invested in communication very much, and that's why he attracted a lot of criticism for his government and a lot of things. So if he had invested in communication, we know that in one way or the other, the university may not be in a position to deliver certain things. But then as a student leader, come up with a better way of communicating to the students so that they understand that yes, the university is in this situation and something is not going right. These things have been affected slightly. Yes, have been affected. Yeah, saying that, not coming up clear and saying it is not going to take place. It will create commotions, and other people already have, we are dealing with a very diverse community where people come from different backgrounds and environments. They don't know where this person grew up from. So some of us are in one way or the other violent. Some of us in one way or the other peaceful. So we look into those kind of people and to see how we can all put this interest together and find better ways of handling their interests.
And if you want to say perhaps the moment you bridge communication, you're answering quite a number of questions. Okay. Now, going back to the candidates, the 6 guild candidates that lost, do you see any of them in your cabinet?
Yeah, I saw. Surely I see some of them in my cabinet, yes. But also some of them who may not be able to be part of that, I'll also make sure they are engaged in one way or the other. In some moment you can create a scenario, even sometimes present them to do some activity in the within the institution, so that we see like this person one time stood, okay, he stood, did this and that. So you come and also explain what you have and also I plan to reach them in one way or the other. Maybe someone not being part of the government doesn't mean that I cannot learn from this person. So wherever I feel I can get the best advice about this from a particular aspirant, I will always reach that person and work together. That's the beauty of us working together. That's what I want to see in this unity I'm talking about from Nkumba University. Because the previous government, we know very well that yes, the challenge was also there was a little bit of imbalance of power. Now this is what I have come for. Because personally, I stood by the way I came from. That time I was in my second semester, first year. I knew that I wanted to aspire for guild presidency a year from that time. But I needed to learn some things that are in the system. So I applied. I wanted to be the Minister of Ethics and Integrity. Yes, but unfortunately, I got an information that the Constitution does not allow freshers to be part of the government, of which I understood. I folded my application and I took it back inside. So I just waited for my time patiently. But now that is my time, because I look right into this and looking forward to making things, changing things for the better. Yeah.
You had a very, I don't want to call it rowdy, but enthusiastic following. Many people termed them as South Sudanese, and they're very vigorous in their campaigns. They even came here protecting what they called their votes.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, do you plan to have this particular group as well part of the cabinet? I'm bringing this into perspective because looking at the imbalance in the current government, which is more of who was supporting the president at the time, and perhaps if you were NRM, it was very easy to occupy positions in the cabinet. Do you also think this might also influence on how you decide the cabinet?
So much, I know previously it has been influencing, but in my campaigns as well, all I've been telling people who bring issues of positions in, I would always tell them, no, let's first make it there. Then we'll talk about this. Yeah, my supporters have been termed as South Sudanese, but then majority of us have forgotten that we had people from Eastern, we had the people from Great Iteso and even Karamajong region, we had the people from Northern Uganda, West Nile, and the South Sudanese who actually saw it. While even we had people from Central, Western, their part, and I worked together explaining this to them. Yeah, majority of them who were able to follow me were people in one way or the other. They have really straightly understood my intentions to come up for this position, because all I want to leave is a contribution. All I want is to build the trust that I will need for future leadership engagements. So they have understood that, and they have seen that yes, I brought up myself clearly. I'm not looking into satisfying my self-interest, but I'm looking into really the best that the students can have. So that's what I look into, and mostly they are not going to influence how I decide my cabinet, because I look into how can this person, is this person student-centered? Is this person doesn't this person have some agenda that is pushing personal? So we don't want to have those conflicts of interest. But at the end, we want to see that yes, people come with the intention for service delivery and betterment of our institution, because we want to promote this image outside there to even promote the market for Nkumba University. In one way, they want to market the university to Tanzania, want to market the university to Kenya, want to market the university to South Sudan, want to market the university to Rwanda, and Burundi, even all other countries within that the university has. We have people from Comoros who are part of the camp, and they are all included to the South Sudanese. That is just some kind of propaganda from other people who might have maybe felt the opposition to be so much pushing them down. So they are trying to look at a way of how they can gain, but it's not the case with me.
Okay. So in your concluding remarks, I want to first of all mention you're from School of Social Sciences.
Yes, yes.
And did it in any way influence your interest into leadership?
Yeah, so much. Doing public administration and management is all about leadership and the service delivery. So I am coming here to push also my professional experience, something very important for me.
So your last word, first of all, to the person watching this?
Yeah, to all the people who might be watching this, I want you to just build in the spirit of love. I want you to come together. I want us to always recognize ourselves as students of Nkumba University, if not as humans, because we believe we have to recognize our common humanity. So from here, I'm trying to say, please come together, join me. Don't focus on propaganda, but when you've heard of something, come and confirm from me, because I am here for an inclusive government. And this is not just not because I'm speaking it out to the press, but because I want to assure you people that this inclusive government you're talking about is going to be manifested, and you're going to see it happen, beginning from when they announce the result, the advert, and come and take the position of your choice. Go and try your luck. We have the parliament that's going to vet you through, and it's not going to be dictated by anyone, but you are going to be represented. We want to see balance, regional balance and faculty balance. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellence. For the viewers, thank you very much for following us and watching news at Nkumba University. This is Nashonji Peter. We'll be having these segments with our leaders once in every week. And please stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and other handles at Nkumba News. Thank you very much.